right, welcome back to the Hops and Bops podcast, episode 69. Yeah, I'm Bruce Tom.
I'm Joe.
And what sexier album could we have done than one of my new favorite albums that came out at the end of last year, of the end of 2021, An Evening with Silk Sonic by Silk Sonic, aka Bruno Mars and Anderson Paak. And to pair with that, we have from Relic Brewing, Motion Machine. It is I'm assuming it's an IPA. It's a double, excuse me. It's a double IPA, 8%. It's a DIPA. It is a bit of a DIPA. 8%. Nothing like drinking an 8% at like 12:30. Can't beat it. I figured, it kind of gets you a little groovy, there's a little bit of motion involved when listening to this album. So
a lot of motions.
Had to do some Motion Machine. So
Cool. Well, I don't have this beer, so enjoy, guys.
Yeah, well, you're gonna have to guess what it tastes like.
Yeah, I'm gonna sense it.
I'm shooting out text trying to figure out what beers we're drinking, and I'm the only one who got both of them.
I couldn't get both. I drove like half an hour to go get some, and they were all closed.
I'll try and find some this week.
Silk Sonic on that one.
Like, little cheers. A cheers. Oh yeah,
it's good. Can definitely taste the 8%. Doesn't hide it quite as well as some other high alcohol content beers do.
It's not bad though. It's relatively like it goes down easy.
It does.
What kind of hops they use?
They use a hop from New Zealand called
Rawaka, yes.
Ooh, imported hops.
Yeah.
It's a good hop.
It is. And then
it's good hop.
Moutier Pacifica. So it does have Pacifica, which we've heard a lot about in these New England IPAs.
Yeah.
Doesn't have my favorite flavor.
No, it's not really like super juicy or flavorful like some of the other ones we've done.
Yeah. Not really bitter though. Got to give it that. For being a double IPA, you can almost taste the alcohol more than you can taste like the bitterness that some of the heavier ones come with. I don't know if it's just me personally, but it just doesn't have like the whatever flavor they're going for. I just feel like I'm not getting, either I'm just not vibing with it, or I'm just not getting enough of like a difference between like, is it citrusy, or is it supposed to taste more like an IPA? Or is it supposed to be more of the booze? Or I don't know. I'm not getting a great balance.
Yeah, I hear you.
Let me.
Oh, yours looks a little clear. Water that down.
Yeah, a lot.
We can't see it because it's in the can, but I mean, I didn't know it was that watery.
At least Tom drank a screwdriver.
I did. I had some. What was that? The vodka that I had. The Deep Eddy Peach.
Oh,
that's what I had in there. Because their website just says what's on tap.
From my understanding, Relic is not like a big time brewery.
Yeah,
I think they're just a tap room, and they brew at Hooker, right? Like you said. Yeah,
I believe so. And they're out of Plainville. I've actually never been there.
Thomas Hooker.
Well, actually, I've never been there either. But I'm saying Relic. I know a lot of people that do like Relic though, and I've got nothing against them. I haven't had a ton of their beers that I can like, or stand out that I remember like, hey, I remember that beer. It was great. This one, like I said, it's just for what it is. It's middle of the road. Like you want to drink an 8% double. That's not going to be overwhelming. This isn't bad. But maybe it's the juice bomb hangover and how flavorful that was. And like standout that was as like, hey, I can see myself drinking this whenever.
Yeah.
I don't know if I'd personally ever go out and buy another 4-pack of Motion Machine.
I've heard good things of their Whim IPA. It has like just a yellow label. I see that one a lot.
Okay.
And then I'm seeing another one that sounds fantastic. Death by S'more. It's an 8.5 creamy imperial milk stout with marshmallow, chocolate, and graham flavors.
Maybe we do it a redemption episode for Relic.
Yeah.
I don't
It's
like
possible.
leaving, because here's the thing, I don't like leaving these small breweries on any sort of a bad note, because
Right.
we're literally basing it off of one beer.
Oh
You
yeah,
know,
for sure.
that sucks. So I definitely, maybe that's something we start to get in the habit of doing, is if we hit a small brewery that we just pick a kind of a dud, in our opinion, maybe we go and we try a
We
redemption.
hunt down. I like that.
It's not that bad either. It's just not like
No.
it's not really defined as to what it wants itself to be,
Like we've talked about before, like that X factor, that what is the reason I'm going back to this beer? But Tom, tell us about this album.
So An Evening with Silk Sonic. This is Bruno Mars, Anderson .Paak, and kind of influence from Bootsy Collins from Parliament, right? He's Parliament Funkadelic, right? Yeah.
See, at first I thought, and I'm going to cut you off, but the way that they set up the album, it almost sounds like Bootsy Collins put together the band.
So yeah.
However, it sounds like they recruited him just to do the narration.
Well, he kind of has like a narration role through most of the album for me. So how it came about was Bruno Mars had Anderson .Paak as his opener for a tour for since 2018, 2017.
Okay.
And they kind of became friends since then. And I don't know if you're as aware as to what Anderson .Paak has been putting out, because Bruno Mars obviously is kind of the shining spotlight on that. You kind of know what Bruno Mars sounds like, but they have very similar styles. They're not necessarily the exact same. They do have different flares to them. I think Anderson .Paak is a bit more of a hip hop flair to him. He does a bit more of the rapping on his releases, but they became friends from there, and they must have just had this in the works ever since then, or just been in talks to do an album. But they were together, like, let's do a group, let's make an album with us together, but we don't know what to call ourselves. So they asked Bootsy Collins to name them, and then he named them Silk Sonic. So that's how he has his influence in there. And even in some tracks, you'll hear him either do the intro or have some kind of ad lib in there. God bless you. You'll have
I thought I muted.
It's okay. He'll be in Smoking Out the Window in the beginning. He'll have that kind of intro, or even in After Last Night. Those kind of tracks, he's in there more. But obviously the shining spotlight is on Bruno and Anderson .Paak. So they released the first single off of this, which was Leave the Door Open, in March of 2021. And, that became a huge hit, has over 700 million streams or something crazy like that. Then they waited a while till like July or something to put out their next single, which was kind of weird. But that was Skate. And then they only came out with their third and final single, Smoking Out the Window, in November. So they waited almost a full year to release the album itself, which is kind of weird. But I have had this build up for that entire time. I was waiting for this thing to come out. I stayed up till midnight to listen to it. I did a full review of this on our YouTube channel, if you want to go listen to that. Yes. I gave it nothing but glowing reviews, but I'm a very big fan of this project and everyone involved.
If I remember correctly, this is also your top rated album of 2021.
It was, yes. If you saw our teasers we did on TikTok, or just the last episode we did in general, this is my number one. Oh yeah, that's two. Yeah, excuse me. This was my number one highest rated album of 2021, just beating out Call Me If You Get Lost by Tyler, the Creator. But I just love it. It's funky, it's groovy, it's got a lot of cool sounds to it. It's shorter in general, so it's not going to overstay its welcome. It's only 30 minutes, I think, something like that.
31:17.
Yeah, so
yeah,
it's in and out. That's how most of Bruno's albums are, though. I don't think many of his albums exceed 35 minutes.
Yeah.
But yeah, 9 tracks, and one of them is an opener that's a minute. I love it. It's a great album.
It's interesting because if you look at the all-knowing Wikipedia,
blessed be,
it actually says, so it always gives you not only the release date, the studio, blah blah blah, but it gives you when it was recorded, the time frame.
Yep.
And it says 2020 to 2021, which makes sense. It came out in November of 2021, but it actually says recorded circa 2017, then 2020, 2021. So
yeah,
tells me that they put some of this together. It says recording sessions with Evening for Silk Sonic took place in 2017, and then again early between 2020 and 2021.
Maybe they were just like demoing back in 2017, like while they're on tour together or something.
Yeah. So just
Yeah, that makes sense.
interesting to see that. And it says here as well that Mars reunited with Christopher Brody Brown. I guess he's just a musician and a writer and a composer and all that. And then during that time when he was reuniting with him, and I'm not sure whether he's just a writer on the album or he plays any specific instruments, but says then Paak reached out to a couple other people that were involved, and that's how they finally, all kind of came together.
Cool.
So it's pretty interesting.
I'm curious to see if it's going to be like a one-off thing, like
Yeah,
Kanye and Jay-Z, Watch the Throne. Although they are working on another one, right?
he did some tracks here and there. He was on Donda's latest release, but they haven't put out like a full album together.
Yeah,
but I
love another
agree.
one from these guys. Yeah,
exactly. I hope this isn't just a one-off, although I think it is just because of the subject matter. But I really hope they release vinyl for this because I think this would be a cool vinyl to have too.
It's a perfect vinyl to have. Yeah, I remember the day this came out. The Taylor Swift's re-released, her version came out. Everyone was posting about that.
Holy shit, we got a lot of musicians on this motherfucker.
Really?
Holy Christ.
Yeah, I'm not sure why there's a Paak in the last part of his name, but I will say he does have a really cool discography. I will recommend Malibu. Eventually we will do that album. There's a lot of cool like jazz rap inspired like soulful songs on that. That's one of my favorite albums from him and of all time. I think he has a thing with naming his albums after like California cities because he has like Venice and the other one, Ooh,
Bruno Mars plays some congas on track 2 and 8.
Interesting.
He plays a sitar on track 8.
Really?
Okay, Ravi.
God, sick burn though.
All right, should we get into tracks here?
Let's do it.
Yeah. So you got the opener. It's
I
only
like the intro.
It's nothing crazy. Like when people are rating their tracks, they kind of exclude this one.
Yeah,
but
it's not a song,
yeah.
but it really sets a tone for it. It's like like you're introducing a concert, and yeah.
Yep.
Great one.
I wonder if Bruno Mars has a lot of his backing band on this album, because I've seen him twice and his backing, I almost go more for the band. And
oh shit, we saw him once.
Yeah, we saw him in Hartford.
You saw Anderson
Yeah,
Paak?
That was a day.
No, Bruno.
And then,
Bruno. Okay.
Bruno. And then I
yeah.
saw him another time at Madison Square Garden. 𝙈𝙤𝙘𝙀 opened for him before
Really?
she got real big. Yeah.
That's cool.
Like right before she got big. It was really cool seeing that. And his band Bruno Mars's band is just insane. And them together, the choreography and how they retweak the songs, for live performances are just awesome.
Agreed.
So I wonder if a lot of the musicians are on this. I don't know. I'd have to look that up. But
yeah.
Then it goes Leave the Door Open.
Oh, what a great track.
Yeah. I was kind of bummed when this was the first track that came out, though, because it's a little too...
Feels like it should be in a movie.
Yeah, it's a little too crooner, like hotel bar. I know that it's a lot of the vibe of the album, but I was kind of hoping for something a little more energetic for the first single, But it's definitely smooth.
Definitely.
Oh, yeah, absolutely.
It's silky smooth.
Yes, it is. What a name, Silk Sonic. I just can't get over it. Such a great name.
For a band that I named Silk Sonic. Yeah, no, it's a great name. Fits the vibe with everything too. It's smooth, but like in a auditory sense, like sonically. I kind of like how on this track Bruno kind of handles the hook because he has a bit more of a cleaner vocal style. Anderson can kind of have that rough kind of smoke the pack and then sing voice, but still hit the notes like perfectly. So I think the way that they have this chemistry together definitely is unmatched, in my opinion.
Yeah, they worked really well together on this. They complemented each other.
Yeah, and it's a little understated, but I think the progression of the album, like narratively, is pretty interesting. It's not obviously, overbearing or has a huge influence on the entire album, but they named it An Evening with Silk Sonic instead of just Silk Sonic, which implies that you're going through a night with them. And so I feel like this track is them like introducing themselves to some girl they find at the club or something, and or some kind of like, if you're interested, the door is open if you want to come in. So, and then the rest of the album is them trying to pursue this person, and then we'll get to it later in the album, but it kind of goes awry.
Yeah, I mean, it's a great song.
For sure.
I agree with Joe. To open an album, it's a little kind of low key. Almost, and like the beginning almost sounds a little like cinematic, like it could be opening a movie or something, however, it is a great song. I'm gonna be honest, getting into songs like the next one, these more like funk songs are by far my favorite on the album. Like this Fly As Me might be my favorite song on the album.
Wow.
Yeah, I agree with Mike.
Like this is what they need to do. The first track reminds me of a Bruno Mars song.
Okay.
If that makes sense. This is what I would expect from Silk Sonic if I didn't know anything better.
Yeah. What's up, staying shit? I'm gonna show you later.
I love this song. As soon as I heard it, I was like, yeah, this is it's dope.
Yeah,
Just
with
that.
Anderson doing like some kind of coming out like a rap on it, like more spoken word than singing. I love this track too. There's not really like a standout bad track for me.
No, nope. I was thinking about that when I was listening to it. I'm like, I don't really know what I would, it was hard for me to grasp what I would knock as like a last track, but.
The only thing that I can knock this track on is that it kind of sounds like it'll be in an Old Navy commercial in a couple months, which I saw on a TikTok comment that someone posted, and it kind of ruined the song for me. Yeah. But I do love it though. It is a great track. I love at the very end. He's like, "Let me get the 3-piece in the biscuit," and it goes bah bah bah, and it goes ugh. So that's the 3-piece in the biscuit. I was like, "Oh shit, that's smooth. that's clean."
Yep. And like, I wish there's a little more of this rapping like throughout the album instead of the smooth like R&B crooner kind of thing, which I do like in its own respect, but I felt it was a little more balanced towards the R&B hotel bar kind of vibe. But An Evening With, like it also implies like you're just going to see them live. You know, no opener, it's them.
This song is like them on the dance floor trying to get with some girl and like explain why they deserve to have sex. And then like the next track after Last Night is them like, actually doing it.
Yep.
Or talking about right after doing it. I love this track. This is like, this is the fuck song.
Yeah.
Also, I don't know if I've ever mentioned, but I fucking love Thundercat. He handles like the bass and some kind of the kind of like high falsettos. So his inclusion in this track isn't like overbearing, but it's just like the production end on his choices were really, really cool. Eventually we'll do a Thundercat album, either Drunk or It Is What It Is are both fantastic albums. So his inclusion on this is like perfect for me.
Cool.
Those days are over, baby.
Very smooth. And I also love how they just name drop Silk Sonic throughout. It's like trying to drill the name into your head, like, and remember it. So that's why, like, I'm kind of hopeful they put something else out. Another album.
So I'm so sorry. Like, it's so hard to listen to this and then talk about it at the same time because I just want to I have a lot of motion in my machine.
You gotta sway with it.
I don't know what to do. Yeah, and obviously the whoever's backing them up in their vocals is doing their part very solidly too. There's a lot of really, really tight harmonies that I think elevate this album to the next level too. So the vibes that this album put out are pretty immaculate. I'm not gonna lie.
Well, it's a good like throwback album too. Like there's a lot of you know 70s elements, and
oh for sure.
Nowadays everyone's a sucker for callbacks and retro, and this is that. But they did it so well,
for sure.
And I don't know much about Anderson .Paak leading up to this. I've obviously heard of him, but I know Bruno Mars way more.
So far, the album's kind of like
yeah,
you're getting. You start off with the intro, and then you kind of get a slower song, and then bam, Fly As Me comes in, and then you kind of drop down again. And
yep, agreed.
When it got to you.
And it's just great storytelling too. Like they do a good job lyrically.
For sure.
Yeah.
I love sweet, sticky, thick, and pretty.
Yeah.
On that, the cool chord or key change at the end is nice too. Anyway, then it goes on to Smoking Out the Window. Probably one of my favorite tracks.
I remember when this song came out, everyone was just losing their mind, like posting about it. And I think this is probably my favorite of the 3 singles that were released before the album came out.
I can agree with.
Yeah.
Still sounds like a single though.
Yeah, I mean,
and I don't know what it is, but those songs that are just more like aggressive funk, like I love that.
Yeah.
So
yeah. Well, I mean, they need to make songs like this,
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Of course.
Out the window.
Yeah. This album or this track felt like the cornerstone of the entire album for me, because it's like a pivot point for the narrative where he kind of realizes this girl that he's kind of been fiending for the last 3 tracks, turns out she didn't really love him and just was kind of in it for the money, and he's been kind of gaslit for this whole time. And so it kind of changes what you view the rest of the tracks as, because going forward they're a bit more forlorn and sadder, and not sadder, but like the idea around them isn't as lovey-dovey as the last couple tracks were. And just the stank that they put on this track is a lot. And when they say this bitch, it's like, oh fuck. Especially when Bruno Mars for his whole career was like, I think I want to marry you, all this other shit, like trying to have these love tracks that you're gonna play at weddings. And then this track is just like, fuck you. Why are you gonna do this shit to me? I'm not paying for all this.
Yeah.
It's kind of a whole like career change move for me. And it's I think it's gotta be my favorite. It's just funky and they all work together, and soaring vocals and instrumentation. It's just a lot of fun.
I remember we were saying a lot of the same things during our stocking stuffers episode, because this was what you gave Mike. Yeah.
Sorry, I forgot that.
Yeah.
Me too.
Solid.
So after this is post MRI for the rest of this album.
Oh yeah.
Because didn't you listen to
Got
this
his
one?
MRI.
Checked out?
I did, and I was like, they asked me what to put on, so I put in this, but it was Spotify with ads. So I ended up getting through like 3 songs because it was like a 10-minute MRI. And it was through these absolute trash headphones. I mean, how much they're charging for an MRI. And they've got Spotify with ads and headphones that you'd use for some read aloud in school. Like,
yeah, it's rough.
Yeah, it was bad. And it was probably on shuffle.
It probably was. Oh yeah, because you can't even like control that. That's right.
An album. Yeah.
So yeah, I was just laying there like this. And then
you got Put On a Smile right after that.
Ooh. This might be my low point.
Okay.
Not that it's a bad song.
It's more ballady.
Yeah. I don't know.
I feel like
we've already heard this song musically. Like this has a lot of hints of like leave the door open, like the song style.
Okay.
I know lyrically it's a different narrative, but that was probably my one knock on the album is I just wish there was more variety, like more songs like Fly Like Me, and then later we'll talk about 777. More songs kind of like that.
I feel like I don't know. I feel like I have different opinions because I feel like those are my two lesser favorite tracks. Even though
I remember on the video you made where you ranked all the songs.
That's right.
Those two were like lower. I was like, all right, I think this will make for a good conversation. Sure.
I feel like they have just beautiful singing voices, and I feel like they fit perfectly over this kind. This is more of a ballady track than I think Leave the Door Open was.
Mm-hmm.
This one isn't really as single focused. This one feels like you're just like pouring in the rain after you broke up with someone. You're just like, oh shit, and then you got to go out and be with your friends that try to like hype you up. You're like, oh bro, it's fine, and you're like kind of like, yeah, you're right, it's good, but like deep down,
gives
you're
me
like,
that like first breakup in a movie montage.
Exactly. Yeah. Well, that's like, what I meant by like this the pivot point of the album.
The windowsill of his like brick New York apartment, and it's raining outside.
Yeah.
He's all sad.
They should make a movie out of this. Like if it's truly
a story,
rain. Yeah. Oh
but,
yeah, it does have big Prince vibes, even like Marvin Gaye in some points too.
But it's not that this is a bad song.
No.
I just felt like, I don't know. I'm still trying to catch that fly as me, like that. It hit that point. And I was like, yes, this is gonna rock, and this is gonna be like, and then kind of it went more of the soul and less of the funk.
Yeah, I feel like they have a lot of deeper roots in soul and not necessarily in funk, although they do have some. But I think they are kind of trying to go more down the soul route this time. But I love this track. This track is one of like the hidden gems on the album for me. Bruno Mars hitting those high notes at the end is a fucking it's a masterclass in how to actually sing in a high falsetto for a male. Like to do that it's extremely impressive, and it just hits that like emotional itch for me that I was kind of looking for in this album. Because you obviously you got the grooves, but I feel like the emotional value of this album is a bit understated, and this track definitely highlights that for me. A little obviously an octave up. It's crazy how you can do that. And
I again, the talent it took to make this song is beyond comprehension.
Yeah.
So I was it's like I was waiting for a little bit more, like it kind of slowly dropped down. But again, like you said, with the narrative and like the shit hitting the fan with a relationship with a girl that he wanted to marry that didn't love him, and it makes sense from a concept type of situation.
Okay.
Well, Mike, I think it picks it back up for you musically, and for me too with the next song.
Yes.
777.
Yes.
This is just like a more up-tempo, fun, kind of fun song.
This sounds like what is it? Is it Hump the Bump?
Oh yeah, a little bit.
Little Red Hot Chili Peppers, Hump the Bump. Yeah.
Okay.
There you go. Yeah, the naked guy. But just that kind of like hip hop funk. Like I almost wish they made like a soul album and then they make like a funk album, hip hop.
Yeah.
I think they just have so much versatility in what they can do.
They do. I think this album shows it off pretty well.
Yeah. So you remember before how I said Fly Like Me kind of sounds like a track you'd seen in an Old Navy commercial?
Yeah.
So now they're actually using this song in Apple AirPod commercials. I heard it the other day. I was like,
I saw it,
no.
Yeah.
But as much crap as I give it, I love this song too. It's definitely picks up the tempo where it needed to, because after that heartbroken track from before, you kind of need that pick me up, especially closer to the end. So it's definitely like the perfect conclusion right at this point.
Agreed.
And Bruno gets a little bit in there in the rapping department too. So they kind of, the only thing I can really knock the song on is that it kind of lacks a contemporary hook. Like there's not really like a chorus.
Yeah, I get what you're saying.
Like they say 777, let's go, but like that's about it.
Yeah, I think they mean for that horn part to be the hook.
I was just gonna say, like, the instrumentals are the chorus.
Right.
Yeah. So I mean, it's a good track. I enjoyed it, but again, there's not really a bad track on the whole thing.
No, like I said, and I wasn't looking for an album that was just this style, but these two songs are the ones that like really stuck out to me and I enjoy musically. Like, not that I dislike the other songs, it's just these kind of songs tend to stick out for me.
Yeah.
I mean, shit, that's how we started our band, was like music like this, you know, that kind of bluesy funk, whatever. So I guess I just had a little more hope that there'd be maybe one or two more of these types of songs in the album.
I had the same. I feel exactly the same. And then the next song.
Yep. Skate. Oh, I love Skate. Skate's great.
Yeah.
Skate's kind of like that mid road of funk and soul, I think.
Yeah, it's a good blend of both genres that we're all talking about. It definitely sounds like a Friday night roller skating date. You can see the disco ball going and the bell bottoms, it's funny.
It's so weird that songs like this are a single right now. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Well, I mean, you got artists like The Weeknd and Drake kind of throwing it back to a more 80s style. Yeah. And then with people like them trying to go to more like the 70s route, it's really interesting to see the recycling of older concepts for a newer generation. So I feel like with their styles, they really fit that niche like perfectly, and like Joe said, you can definitely envision yourself at the roller rink kind of going down skating down to listen to this song. It fits the vibe pretty perfectly.
No, like Joe said, it's a good blend of the funk, the soul. Makes sense that it was it was the second single on the album. I think if they went from Leave the Door Open right to Smoking Out the Window, would have been too similar.
Yeah, agreed.
Yeah, no, they did. They killed this one. This is definitely one of the better tracks as well.
It's fun.
It's a lot of fun. Yeah, definitely a fun track. That's a good way of putting it.
Yeah.
And then it all kind of closes off with Blast Off, which is the closing one. This track I feel like is the send off where you had this huge fun night with everyone, but you also kind of got broken up with and all this other shit went on, so you're like, screw it, I'm gonna roll something up and smoke it and get high and go to bed. That's the kind of concept of this. They literally say like, I took a little something to get here, and it's if you look at
I like that line.
If you look at the lyrics for this, they definitely hint at some drug usage. You're blasting off into getting high. So it kind of wraps the narrative up for me, and I think that is a really cool way to end an album. And while it's a bit more of an understated track, just because it is a bit more ethereal and dreamy, I don't know, it fits the vibe. And it's obviously it's not going to be as up tempo as Skate, but it's the closer. It's not supposed to be.
Right.
Stop.
You can. It definitely ends with like a 70s, kind of the idea of Blast Off. Like you can feel the album ending, and kind of going off into nothing,
Yeah.
Nice little guitar solo in there.
Yeah, I want to say that was Bruno.
There are a few.
Yeah, Bruno Mars was a guitar solo on 4 and 9.
Yeah.
Oh, cool. I don't know that. I took a little something to get here. I got a little bar. If you're ready, we can have it all. It's like, oh, damn.
Damn.
So, but yeah, no, it's well, that's it. That's the whole album. You got what's his name there? Bootsy Collins kind of wrapping it up at the end. We're like,
Yep.
all the way to the stratosphere.
Yeah.
I don't know.
Yep.
I thought it was kind of like a good like exiting song, like, oh, we're leaving. So pretty good way to wrap it up.
And I liked that it was short, because I feel like if it was any longer, it would get a little redundant and would lose its flair, you know.
Definitely.
Yeah, the fact that it's 30 minutes, every time it ends before I like realize it's gonna end.
Yeah.
Yep.
Which is a good thing in this album.
Yep.
Sure.
Right, because you don't want to overstay something that has definitely retro vibes.
Yeah.
You know. Yeah. I thought it was a great album. I thought it was much needed in music right now. This kind of album that kind of showcased the musicianship and instrumentals, and it, you know, this stuff isn't just thrown to a drum loop. You know, like there's crafting, there's, you know, you're writing your parts and you're working it out as a band, and that in the mainstream I thought was nice to have, you know, finally.
Definitely.
Yeah. I enjoyed it for sure.
So we hinted at it a little bit before, but what are your guys' favorite tracks?
Yes. So we're starting. Okay.
Oh, I can start if you want. I mean, technically,
I'm ready.
Mike, if you're ready, go for it.
Fly As Me is my favorite track.
Okay.
Actually, hold on. I guess. All right. If we're going by singles, Smoking Out the Window would be my favorite. Does that make sense? Because we're going by singles, whatever. So Smoking Out the Window, I thought was probably the best of the three singles.
Okay.
Even though it was one of the slower ones, Skate had a little more up tempo. I think Smoking Out the Window was definitely more vibe for what the album was.
Yes.
Yeah. I'm choosing two. I'm doing my it's been a while.
Joe Side Classic.
Yeah, the Joe Side Classic. My actual favorite song is Fly Like Me. As soon as I heard it, I was like, damn, this song is sick. I love it.
Yeah.
I'm into that more funkier vibes than so much of the soul. But I also do want to acknowledge Smoking Out the Window. I love that song. So those are my two favorite songs on the album for sure.
Yeah. Regardless of, you know, any track, I gotta give it to Smoking Out the Window.
Yeah.
It's, you know, I did a TikTok where I kind of ranked all the tracks because I was kind of popular, and also I like the album a lot. And I put this one as number one. It's got a lot of cool stank on it, you know. You don't really hear that from the artists in any sense before this album. So the fact that they pulled it off so great on this, and you know, all the great instrumentation and production choices, they really knocked out the park on Smoking Out the Window.
For sure.
In terms of least favorite, I think I'm gonna give it to 777. While I did like the track, obviously I enjoyed all of the tracks on this. It just lacked a bit of a conventional chorus, and it was just, I like saying conventional. A conventional oven, that's convectional.
Let's stay in our lane.
It was.
How's that beer, Joe?
That's great. 0.0. It's nice.
It's a zero. It's a zero IPA. Instead of a double, it's a zero.
Yeah.
You know, all the tracks on this are great, but if I had to choose one, it would be this one. So
I have no idea what order we're going in, but
I think you're up next, Mike.
Okay. Put a smile on. Put on a smile. It wasn't a bad song. I liked it. I understood why it was where it was, what it meant, all of that. I just thought it was kind of the down point for me. You know, after kind of all those soul ballady kind of slower songs, you had Fly As Me in the middle, which brought it up. And then that was just getting to a point where I was like, okay, it was a turning point in the album and I understand why, but that song didn't quite fully do it for me. Still a good song. Just if I had to pick one, that's going to be it.
Yeah. So when I listened to this album, you know, first couple times, I knew exactly where we would all individually stand on this album. I knew Mike and I would be kind of lockstep with each other, and I knew Tom would be on the other side of it, which that's whatever. That's what it's not like I fucking hate you for liking that song.
That's
No,
it.
this is why Tom's wrong. I mean, no other reason.
Yeah, right. But for
Instead of
me,
raising your
like,
hand.
as we all know, I don't listen to
I'm shocked.
lyrical content as much. So when a Put on a Smile came around, I was like, I feel like we just heard this song, from Leave the Door Open. It's a great song. I don't think there's a bad song on this album, but musically, that's where I'm coming from. That's the angle. This song just didn't really do much for me. So Put on a Smile was mine as well. My bottom track.
But Joe, what is
Yeah.
your dark, sleepy, dark horse track? Dark.
Wait, what? Your bottom was 777?
Yes.
Yeah, I knew that from.
If I had to pick, like, I still love the track.
Yeah.
But
Yeah, no, exactly right.
it's a 9-track album, so it's tough
Yes.
to pick one.
My sleepy dark horse is 777, just because it was the other like funk style
Just
song on
wanted
the
to say
album. I really can't pick Skate because it was a single. So, I went with 777. Yeah, so that's where I'm at.
Okay. I'm gonna steal a bit of Joe Sod's thunder and pick a couple tracks just because I do love this album.
Because why have one when you can have two?
That's right. Fuck you guys. I love Put on a Smile. It's a great track. It's just it's so emotionally valid, and the way that they hit the notes.
I get it.
The notes, the notes. I got to give a shout out to After Last Night. I think that's a great track that really, really fits the vibe. And Blast Off, I think, is a bit of an understated track, but it definitely suits the album very well in the role that it plays. So those are my three.
Nice.
So, like I was originally saying on the first song, and then I kind of caught myself. Fly As Me is going to be my sleepy dark horse. It's probably my favorite song on the album, but it wasn't a single, so I saved it for the sleepy dark horse. That was the first song I heard when I was doing the album, and I was just like, God damn, this is what I want. You guys still see me? Because something just switched.
Yeah.
My dad's calling me. Screams on me. Like, threw me off. So, anyway, that song's fucking killer. I did like 777. I just thought Fly As Me had a little more substance to it. And it could just be too that it was earlier in the album, so it caught me earlier on. It was the first song that I was like, shit, I hope they have more of this. And not as much, but still doesn't take away from the album as a whole. So that's definitely my sleepy dark horse. Is like, if they could put an album out like that, holy shit, I'd have that on repeat.
For sure.
All right, it's about that time. It's about that time. I guess I will start with the ratings of the album. Yes. If you're not aware, I did a review for this on the channel by myself, and I will give it the same rating that I gave in that. I gave it a 9 out of 10. It was fun. It was emotional. It was pretty versatile. It was just short enough to not be overbearing. It was really danceable. There's a lot of danceable tracks to it. It had a great story. It had great features. It had a likable protagonist in the story. Amazing instrumentation and mixing. It was really everything you wanted out of the two artists who had chemistry like not a lot of other artists do. And it's my #1 album of the year. It's a little shy of being like a 10 out of 10, just because it's a little bit short and there are some tracks that I think do miss the mark just slightly. But what they achieve on this album is it's fantastic. So I'm giving it a 9.
Nice. My turn?
Yes.
This whole order thing is throwing me off because
whoever's ready.
I just think, I think are we all in different orders when it comes to?
For me, how we're talking right now is is clockwise. It's working really well for me.
Okay, so it is for me too, actually.
Oh, I'm counterclockwise.
I wasn't sure if that's how it worked all the way around.
Well, Tom started, he's on the bottom, then we're going to Mike, then we're going to me.
So see, Tom's upper left for me, so then we're going upper right, which is actually me, and then you're
just read the album.
Oh,
Michael?
I'm I'm giving it an 8. I did like the album. It was.
You look a little sad at that one.
I'm giving it an 8 because it's a great album. I thought it was good. I wish there was a little more of the funk side than just all the soul, but I took Joe's thunder. He's pissed off that I rated it an 8. So Joe, go fuck yourself. It's your turn.
Can we just copy and paste?
Sure.
I
Just
thought
go
it was
and then I'll put it over your
Yeah,
voice.
just dub it. No. I thought it was a fantastic album. I'm giving it the same exact rating, an 8. I would have loved to give it more.
You're not copying me?
Wow,
Yeah,
did you
copying.
You guys are
When
cute.
this came out and everything, I was like, shit, this is the music I need, and like new music, you know? It's not run of the mill, it's not cookie cutter. But I just wish that they had more of a balance in song styles. I wanted at least 1 or 2 more kind of funk style. A little less on the soul and R&B. I'm not saying I don't like that. I do, but I just thought it was the song styles, the musicality of it was a little unbalanced for me.
Yeah.
So
Well, there's 9 songs.
Yeah.
Well, 8. There's 8 songs, not
Yeah.
counting the intro. So there's 8 songs, and 6 of them are kind of soul ballady, and maybe 7 if we count
Right.
Ski.
yeah,
Let's
And
go.
3 of them are a
yeah,
little more like funk hip hop.
yeah.
I know
Would have
that's
loved
only
a little more balance there. So
Yeah, I agree with
It's-
that.
but it's a great album nonetheless. It's
Mm-hmm.
definitely the best new music I've heard of in 2021. So it's my favorite album of the year, and I'm
Ooh.
giving it an 8. for
Wow.
sure. Yeah,
Oh,
I mean, well,
you
I
haven't
don't
listened to
I
it
don't
yet.
listen to a lot of new music because I don't know. But we did Sour, we did Tyler, we did
Mhm.
trying to think what other like new music I came across. We did a little bit of Lil Nas X
True.
there.
Yeah.
But I just think this is the album that I've wanted in like a new offering. So
Okay,
for
nice.
sure, my top album of the new year.
Wow.
I'm trying to think of like rock stuff that yeah, like the Foo Fighter album that came out was just, it was,
Yeah, it's pretty meh.
disappointing. Yeah, that came out earlier.
I don't
in the year,
even
so-
know. I like I'm having a hard time even like wrapping my head around what albums were 2021.
Yeah,
Shitty.
John Mayer.
Oh God.
nah. I know Mike didn't like that.
I kind of liked it. I put it on my list.
Yeah,
Puke in my mouth.
Trying to go through all the old ones.
All right. Yeah, I don't know.
well,
yeah.
anyway, 8 for me.
Joe, what are your opinions on Motion Machine though?
I got my nice 0.0 Miller Lite
You
glass.
filtered it infinite times and it came out with no alcohol.
Yep.
And yeah.
Yep. So I'm just gonna excuse myself from the rating.
I guess I'll go. I can understand where Mike's coming from too on this. It doesn't really have a defined set of what it really wants to be. It's just kind of a generic double IPA.
Mhm.
And while that's pretty scathing, I think it is a decent beer. I'm gonna drink the rest of them. I got 4 of them. It's not like I'm gonna toss them. And I think it would be interesting to see what else they could do with this formula. Maybe add some kind of very high level citrus, or like you were saying, add some kind of marshmallow and graham cracker kind of combo. I don't know. It's a good base for something else, but by itself, it's pretty meh. So I'm gonna give it like a 5.5. I think 5.5 is pretty a decent rating for them. So.
I agree with that. I'm gonna give it a 6, and the only reason I bumped it up to a 6 is it's a smooth beer for the alcohol content. So double IPAs tend to be very alcohol like heavy and
Boozy.
yeah, they're very
Boozy.
boozy, and they start to get that extra little bit of where sometimes you get those last couple of sips where you just like, fuck, I got to choke this down just to finish it.
Yeah.
I never felt that with this beer. You definitely could taste that boozy side, but it was a little smoother. The citrus helped. I just feel like it didn't have enough balance of flavor. Like or maybe it was just that it didn't have enough flavor, period.
We did just have COVID, so that might not be it might affect your taste buds.
I'm not gonna lie, I'm really still not sure what's being affected by that or not. I mean, I can taste most things like normal, but like I still doesn't taste great when I brush my teeth. Like it's not, or gum still doesn't taste quite. I don't know why mint got like fucked up.
Fucking mint.
Yeah.
Good. Maybe you won't eat that godforsaken mint chocolate ice cream.
The ice cream is so good.
Oh God, dude.
It's one of my favorites. But anyway, just and the reason we're on Zoom right now, I still have a cold. Like right now, I've got to go blow my nose. So it's just one of those things where that could be a factor in me not tasting something that's there. But I just feel like no matter what, it just doesn't have like this bite or this X factor that makes me want to drink an 8% double IPA. You know, when I drink a 16-ounce beer, like I want to enjoy all 16 ounces. And I just feel like something's missing. So,
Okay.
I got the bump though, because it is 8% and relatively
drink.
smooth for 8%.
Tom, is that a golf club or
This? Oh yeah. I found this at Portland West. Someone just got rid of it. It doesn't have a stick on it or a club on it, so I just use it as like a walking stick when I'm going outside and shit.
Oh, nice.
It's got a good grip on it.
you're holding it kind of like I've been binge watching Daredevil on Netflix.
Okay.
You're holding it kind of like how someone who lacks vision would, hold the oh God.
Sorry. I don't know. I was using it to fidget around.
Nice.
All right.
Something we forgot to do last. Oh, go ahead, Mike. What?
I was just gonna say I gotta pee. So
All right.
Yeah.
Let's wrap this up.
Yeah, the
Something
Jets
we
are
forgot
on.
to do last episode is we forgot to shout out our people. So we have Silk Sonic on Instagram, Bruno Mars, Anderson Paak. Go check him out.
Go check out Anderson Paak. He deserves it.
Yeah, I definitely want to listen to some of his music now.
Malibu. It's a good album.
All right, noted. And then we have Relic Brewing. They're out of Plainville, you said, Mike?
yep, I think Plainville.
Connecticut. Sounds
Yep.
good. So Relic Brewing on Instagram. Check them out.
Nice.
And yeah, so on to our next episode, 70.
Holy shit.
Getting old.
Been
Can't
old.
believe we've done almost 70 of these things. It's crazy.
Been old.
Awesome.
Yeah. I believe this next one is mine.
It is.
Yes. So we're doing one of my favorite albums. It's definitely in my top maybe 15 albums of like life. It's by a band called Alter Bridge. They are the remnants musicians of Creed. I get a lot of shit for liking these guys, but they're a great band. Alter Bridge. God damn it. Here we go. It's starting already. This band, Alter Bridge, they are awesome. They are one of the best like hard rock bands out there right now. Keeping the genre alive. I'm going with their fourth album. I think it's their best album to date still. It's called Fortress. And this thing is a banger from beginning to end, and I'm excited to talk about it. And then to pair with that, I'm going with one of our repeated breweries, Abomination, and I'm going with their double IPA. It's called Wandering into the Fog. And it's a sick can. I haven't had it yet. I'm saving it until then. And I'm excited to try it. I've been meaning to try it. So
we've had it down at the lake, right?
Yeah, on the boat. Yeah, I have a picture of me drinking it, so that'd be a lot of fun.
Yeah, so I'm excited for this next episode, and yeah, so hope you guys are too. Thank you so much for listening, and keep listening. And by this time, dig back into the archives. We've covered so much, and that's the beauty of our podcast. I think is if you don't want to listen to every single episode, you can look up something that we've done a certain genre, a certain artist, certain beer, whatever it is. So dig back. We've been the Hops and Bops podcast. Give us a follow on Facebook and Instagram. Check us out on Spotify, Apple Podcasts, and the YouTube channel. And did I say TikTok too? Not sure, but
yeah, throw it in. Yeah, not that big.
For Mike and Tom, I've been Joe. We'll see you next time.
Peace. Gotta pee.